Welcome back to When Sports Met Sarcasm. It's not the first Saturday of May, that's 8 days away, but we are 1 day away from the draw, and I am going to basically walk you through the most successful way to attack a 20-horse Kentucky Derby. Everyone always says, well, pace makes the race. Well, guess what? We're going to have to figure out the pace to be able to cancel out up to probably 10 to 12 horses. I've got so much interesting data. We've got miles per hour. We've got internal splits. We haven't even had the draw yet, but I'm going to go through what is basically a gift that has been given to us. A gift named Bhupat Simar. And if you don't know who he is, he's one man who doesn't need security cameras, correctional officers, anything in his barn. And the reason being, this guy literally takes no prisoners. This guy will never get in front of a speed horse. Believe it or not, he was even an assistant trainer to Bob Baffert. But this guy is a gift that keeps giving. He has a horse named Sixspeed in this race. Sixspeed is basically our linchpin to figure out how we can attack this race and successfully cancel out tons of horses out of this 20-horse field, and some that you don't even think that they would be because they're some of the favorites. But we're going to go through it. We got Pete Rose here. Huh, Pete? It's your favorite time of the year. You even took time away from playing the late double at Aqueduct today. Rosalind is here. Rosalind loves the Kentucky Derby. This is the best time of year for her. She comes over here with her turf horses from England, and she wins every race. Right, Rosalind? All right. Well, we don't got a lot of time to waste. We got so much stuff to go through here. Bhupat Simar is going to be the key to the 2026 Kentucky Derby because he was the key to the 2022 Kentucky Derby. And if you don't remember, his horse name was Summer is Tomorrow. And Summer is Tomorrow put a hole in the wind. He ran 21-3 the first quarter, I think 45-2 the second for the half. He is our gift to this Kentucky Derby, and we're going to dive into it now. Let's go. All right, Bhupat's back. Last time we saw him, 2022, as I said, Summer is Tomorrow. He set such a blistering fast pace that Rich Strike won. And Rich Strike didn't get enough credit going that race because he was a late closer and he did like Churchill Downs. But this guy set him up. And we have a feeling Sixspeed is going to set up a horse for you, too, on the first Saturday in May. Bhupat, this guy loves speed. Here we go, 2022. His horse was Summer is Tomorrow. Jockey was Michael Barcelona. We don't have a jockey yet for Sixspeed. And poor Sixspeed, racing the UAE Derby, had to fly all the way back to England, then had to fly all the way to Chicago and go through quarantine. I want to say he's actually arriving or in quarantine now. The poor guy. They need to, actually, if you look at Bhupat Simar, he's talked about how it's just one of the reasons why it's hard to win the UAE Derby to the Kentucky Derby is just because of all the obstacles. And that's what he's going through right now. But he does love speed. Speed is going to set up how the Kentucky Derby order of finish happens. I'm going to show you a very interesting DRF statistic that they put out a couple days ago. It tells you everything you need to know. You need to stop overthinking things when it comes to the Kentucky Derby. You need to control things that are in your control, and one of them is figuring out the pace. If you can figure out the pace of the race, you can literally cancel out half the field with the running styles. So we're going to do that, and Sixspeed is our key. All right, so let's move on here. Let's look at that DRF pace scenario. All right, look at this graphic from the Daily Racing Form. Want you to pay attention. First of all, we can see Summer is Tomorrow right there in 2022. Rich Strike was at 18th in the half position, 4 furlongs. Summer is Tomorrow, like we said, set that blistering fast pace. If you look here on the graphic, Only Promises Fulfilled set a faster time form U.S. pace than Summer is Tomorrow. And of course, when Summer is Tomorrow sets that fast pace, it sets it up for someone who's literally almost in last after 4 furlongs. But the fast pace, I'm going to show you a graphic of that Summer is Tomorrow. I'll show you a still shot picture of where they were at the half-mile point and then where almost every one of those horses finished in the result of the final order of finish. And it shouldn't shock you. Look here at this graphic. If it's a fast pace, the faster it is, the harder it is to stay up on that pace, close, finish, and find the winner circle. Medina Spirit, but that was an average pace. So when he was up on, and didn't even win, but But he was up on that slow pace. It's easier to be on a slow pace and survive. This isn't brain surgery, people. Here we go, Mage. Verifying set a very fast pace in the 45s, 45 and 4. Mage, 16th at that call. Let's go all the way down to Palace Malice, who, let me give you one quick excerpt here. The Kentucky Derby is the best blueprint for the next couple races throughout the whole summer. Oxbow. I don't know if everyone remembers Oxbow, but all you need to do is go back and watch Kentucky Derby and watch Oxbow, how fast he was, the speed he had, and it shouldn't shock you at all that he won the Preakness. Down at the bottom, Palace Malice. Look how fast he went. He comes back, he wins the Belmont at huge odds for no reason. Look how fast he went. Oh, okay. So the whole point of this graphic, I'm not going to beat it into your head, but you need to figure out the pace. Once you figure out the pace, then you can figure out the running styles, like I said, and we can start canceling horses out. So here's our key. Sixspeed. Mikhail Porzolona, the jockey. Bupat Seymour, the trainer. This horse is fast. Believe it or not, his stride, I want to say that his top stride resembles Commandments, which is kind of crazy. And Chief Wallaby. Crazy. So, Sixspeed. He's fast. Key, Sixspeed. Now, he did come out of the UA Derby. One difference I'm going to give you between Sixspeed and Summer is Tomorrow is when Summer is Tomorrow, when he came here, I want to say he never went past 7 furlongs at that point. And as you watch the Derby, it didn't look like he went past 7 furlongs either. But this horse, Sixspeed, has stretched out and has now carried his speed 1 mile and 3/16 in the UAE Derby. He was stopping, obviously. And then they'll talk about how Wonder Dean closed him down. He must be this big closer. Or really, he was the only one who was still actually running. So, here's Sixspeed. Like I told you, that last race highlighted on the top, that is the UAE Derby. Set the pace, and then basically folded down the lane, and Wonder Dean caught him. But the whole point why I'm showing this here is the horse only knows the front. Bupat Seymour, as I'll show you a quote he has said, he said, the horse is just so freaking fast, but he needs to learn to relax. Is he going to learn to relax from that time to the Kentucky Derby? And he's got to fly across the world, fly to every continent, get on the track that he's never been on before. The chance that he stays, I guess, the best chance he stays is probably if it rains. But we don't care because we just need to know the pace. And Sixspeed is pace. Yes, there is Chip Honcho. And yes, there is Pavlovian. And yes, when we watch the draw, we hope they don't draw next to each other. So God forbid we get a bumper car derby out of the gate and all of a sudden all the speed's gone. And then before you know it, you find Potente on the lead. So here's Sixspeed. This is Sixspeed here. 45 and 5 for the 4 furlongs. As you can see, he's obviously in the lead. There's not much behind him, but he's fast and he's going to go fast. And I'm going to show you how he's going to go fast to help us with the pace, but he's probably not going to stay fast that long, as evidenced by this graphic here. Let's look at Sixspeed down at the bottom there. Remember I just talked about stride length peak. All right. Now we're also going to talk about stride frequency, right? Basically, the higher the number on the stride frequency, 2.44 right there, compared to 2.36 for Incredible there. But just for purpose sake, the higher the stride frequency, the more they're a sprinter or labeled a sprinter. The lower the stride frequency, like Albus or Right to Party or, believe it or not, So Happy. They don't have that sprinter kind of stride so that they can stay longer. So basically, the lower the number, the better you are at staying. But look at the top speed mile per hour here for Sixspeed. 41.56 miles per hour was his top speed. But his final speed was 14 miles an hour slower because he was stopping. And if there's no one in the race to catch you because no one's good, then it looks like you're going to be able to carry it through, and Wonder Dean is this great closer. But really, he was stopping. Wonder Dean wasn't even going 30 miles per hour through the wire. And if you want to characterize that to, let's say, Renegade, where Renegade ran 36.35 miles per hour through the line at the Arkansas Derby. He's running almost 10 miles an hour faster as a horse at the end of basically 9 furlongs. That is a stop job. But as we can see, 41.56. He should be able to get out there. Summers tomorrow only lasted about 4 furlongs. He should last probably 6 furlongs. He might even make it kind of interesting at the top of the stretch where people are like, oh my God, Sixspeed's going to win. Probably not. Not when you're going 27 miles an hour through the line. Let's see what the trainer is saying, since he sees him every day. Boopat. What Boopat is saying. He just didn't say, this is about the UAE Derby. He just didn't stay, Seymour said after Sixspeed faded down the stretch of the UAE Derby. He doesn't help himself. He's got so much speed, but he needs to learn to relax. That's the problem for him to win. We don't care if he wins. We just need him to go out there and go 45. 45 and change, 22 and change for the splits. And if he does that, then we know what the pace is. And then we can draw up our game plan to figure out how we want to attack it. But just a little disclaimer. I'm telling you all about Sixspeed. This is still gambling. Any way you look at it, he could come out of the gate and get bumper card by any horses on the side of him. Who knows? We've seen Thunderstow just basically jump up and down. There's so many things that can go wrong in a 20-horse field coming out of the gate. You need to survive the gate. But if anyone tells you that it's not gambling, you need to understand that it's gambling.
Gambling. Gambling. Gamble.
It's not gambling.
Sounds like gambling.
Gambling? Who said anything about gambling?
Gambling, right?
Gamble.
Gambling.
That's all you talk about is gambling, gambling, gambling.
All right. Now look at this graphic. This is the 2022 Kentucky Derby. Now, this is a still shot from the half mile of who we know, Summer is tomorrow, since we've been talking about this. This was a fast half mile, obviously. We already showed you the graphic that it was the second fastest in the last 15 years. Now, look at where these horses are positioned. I wrote them down here. You got Summers tomorrow, Crown Pride, Messier, Zozos, Taba, Cyberknife, Charge It, Epicenter. Now, this is at a fast half mile. Now, let's see where these horses end up finishing in the final order of finish, since we can see them here. We can see them all here. But this is the half mile point. Now I'm going to show you the final order of finish. Look at what happens if you're up close to a fast pace. Epicenter's the only one who survived that. And he was basically at the 8th position of all those horses. So he was kind of furthest off of the top 8. Now, he was also the favorite too. So put that in your memory, that maybe a favorite can outrun the pace. Not win, because he still lost. But Zozos, Taba, Crown Pride, Messier, Charge It, Cyberknife, and Summer is Tomorrow. They literally were in the front 8 and finished in the back 8. The fast pace is going to zap some of these horses. They're totally going to zap them. When we go through the actual Kentucky Derby after we get the draw, then we can start playing positions of who could get cooked up in that fast pace that we're expecting Sixspeed, Pavlovian, and Chip Honcho to set. So let's move on. All right, we have the draw coming up tomorrow. Once again, the one thing we're looking for is Sixspeed not to draw next to Pavlovian or Chip Honcho, and basically just hope that those 3 can get clean trips to get out of the gate, set a fast pace, and then we'll never see them again. So, the draw is tomorrow. Let's focus on that. The draw is Saturday, 2:15 Eastern, Churchill Downs, the Saturday before the Derby. Now, Rosalind's been sitting tight. Pete Rose has been sitting tight. I was going to do this now. I'll show you a little, basically a little quick bit of it. Now, I was going to do the whole thing, but it's like, I'm waiting for the draw anyway. Once we get the draw, then I'll do it once. I'm not going to do it twice. But wait until you see some of the internal fractions. And like I showed you the mile per hour, it's going to shock you. But Rosalind, we need to pay the bills. Take it away.
This break in the action is sponsored by Coca-Cola, the sugar drink that has helped increase the risk of type 2 diabetes to over 200 countries. Have a Coke, a tooth decayed smile, and a heightened risk of type 2 diabetes.
Thank you, Rosalind. All right. These are just the internal fractions. These are all each furlong throughout the whole race of the Sam F. Davis and the Arkansas Derby. To show Renegade, obviously the Sam F. Davis featured the Puma. So Renegade, these are his 2 starts that he's had this year as a 3-year-old. Look at the fractions. Now, I'm only going to do 1 or 2, but once we do the actual real video, I'll show you a lot more. But look at the top here. Renegade, Sam F. Davis. The first furlong and a half, because the run-up and everything they have. So, the first furlong and a half, Puma ran slightly faster. 6.81, gets the front, 11.42. And then every furlong or fraction after that, Renegade ran faster than him. How about this? Renegade ran a sub-12 final furlong, going 9 furlongs. Arkansas Derby, same thing. 12.51 for the first furlong. Speeds it up to 11.44. Back to 12.16. Slows up. Then all of a sudden, towards the end of the race, runs another sub-12. 11.84. Look at the Puma here. The Puma is all the way to the right. His last furlong, we showed you Renegades, is 11.99 for his last furlong. The Puma's was 12.69, almost 0.7 seconds faster. And then you got to think they have to go another 1/8 of a furlong. Some of this stuff is amazing. Now look at, I'll show you Commandment real quick because I'm not going to go through this until we get the draw. But I do want to show you some of it. Here is Commandment. So now we just saw Renegade, sub-12s. So here we go. We got Commandment. We have Chief Wallaby when they faced off in the Fountain of Youth where they actually had a pace compared to the Florida Derby. But look at the end of the race. 12.58 for Commandment to 12.61. Getting slightly slower. Chief Wallaby, even with that long stride, 12.55 to 12.75, slowing down. You go to the bottom, the Florida Derby. Every one of them, even when they set the slowest pace ever of going 12-second plus furlongs, they couldn't finish faster. 12.22 for Commandment, 12.58 for the Puma. Chief Wallaby, 12.47. So Renegade runs sub-12 last furlongs in every race and has an extra furlong to go. And these horses are stopping. Not as stopping nearly as bad as Sixspeed, but they're not running fast. And as I showed you that graphic before, the miles per hour, that will shock you. So, all right, that's it for now. Rosalind's going to take you guys out. Derby draw Saturday. After the draw, that's when we're going to go through everything. We've got internal splits on other horses. Since we think it's a fast pace, we probably think Further Ado is going to be close to the pace. What do we think is going to happen to Further Ado? There's just so much to go through. We all know that Kentucky Derbies are defections. There's going to be horses put into the race that shouldn't be in the race like now, like Intrepido or even Chip Honcho. But you need to pay attention to the pace. So we are establishing if Sixspeed runs, he's taking no prisoners. Sixspeed's going fast. Boopad Seamar's not going to get in the way of a speed horse in the Kentucky Derby. He's smart enough to know that if he's in front, it's a one-horse race. He's not going to find trouble, and it just comes down to, like he always says, whether the horse stays or not. So, not to talk your ear off about the pace. Fast pace, Sixspeed already cancels about 85% of the work you need to do for the next week. Rosalind, let's take him home.
Thank you for tuning in to When Sports Met Sarcasm. The media that not only informs but entertains. Bye now.